I don't pretend to be Irish for the day. I'm not drinking green beer. I'm not wearing a Kiss Me, I'm Irish button. I got no quarrel with Irish folks. I like Notre Dame. And golf courses over there look like they're pretty cool. But don't look for a bunch of Irish music. I'm not going to play Irish music during the... Stop that. Not playing that during the show. We're playing our Football Friday music. This is not Football Friday. It's not Football Friday. It doesn't even sound like Football Friday music.
Woo! St. Patrick's Day.
All right. We will have your football bump music throughout the show. I can guarantee you that. Now, look, it may be Football Friday, but it's also day 2 of the madness. So, yes, we will have some solid football in the show today. But it was a historic day in Birmingham yesterday as the Tide and Tigers, for the first time in the history of the tournament, played in the same venue on the same day. You heard the Alabama game here. Alabama played with Brandon Miller basically tied behind their backs and still cruised to an easy win over the Islanders of Corpus Christi. While Auburn was very impressive in beating Iowa, leading by as much as 17 in the second half and then holding off a furious Hawkeye comeback to win by 8 and break the hearts of the likes of Scott Thiessen, who is a Iowa fan. He must have had Iowa. Like several of us had Iowa. Scott broke out day 1. Scott broke out in front of all of us in the building in our 97.7 ESPN, the Zone Bracket Channels presented by Talent Heating and Air. He broke out on top so far. He hit 12 games. He hit 12. Moliton hit 11. The Bandyman hit 11. Grizz hit 11. Me and Captain Cool hit 10. And there's a rumor. It's a rumor because I can't substantiate it. There's a rumor that Drew Armand hit 10 as well. I mean, that's what he says. We don't know because I don't see his team on the 175 teams that are listed in our bracket challenge. I don't know. Some wise guy who goes by the name of Bama Boy for Life went 14-2. Good job by you, Bama Boy for Life. Now, that might be Drew, but I don't think so. Drew says he had 10. I don't know. He might have had 12. He might have had 8. I don't know. I don't see him on our list. That's all I'm saying about that. And I may be totally wrong. But we have no substantiation for what his bracket might look like. Maybe he left his bracket in his car. I don't know. All right. Auburn, they were the 9 seed, but they were a slight favorite actually in that game, like a 1.5, 2-point favorite over the 8 seed, Iowa. And you could just see the difference in the athleticism. I mean, neither team could throw it in the ocean from three-point land in the first half, and both heated up in the second half. Auburn is pretty much the worst three-point shooting team in the country, right? They're like, 340 out of 330 or so. They're terrible. They're the worst three-point shooting team in the country, or very close to it. But they made 7 out of 13 in the second half, and that about did it. Guys throwing them in from all over the place. And how about Wendell Green Jr.? I mean, he was just money from the line, cold. Running his team record to what? I don't know, 35, 36 in a row that he's made now from the free throw line? Let me tell you something. I actually think that they have a shot against Houston. I actually think that Houston is the betting favorite to win this tournament. I think that Auburn has a shot against Houston, who had to sit their star, Marcus Sasser, in the second half yesterday after he aggravated his groin injury in a 9-point win against Northern Kentucky. They struggled to get away from Northern Kentucky. And speaking of groins, well, that doesn't really even sound right. We really shouldn't I mean, do we speak of groins much? I mean, Brandon Miller apparently is suffering from a groin injury as well. And if he can't get right, I don't know how far the Tide can get in this deal without Brandon Miller. I mean, certainly against Corpus Christi. I mean, they blew him out by 20. But it's just different. I mean, starting with Maryland tomorrow, this is different. Just saying. I don't know how fast they can get that groin in shape and get him right. Of course, with Virginia and Arizona, they were two of the biggest threats in the South region. With them being whacked yesterday, it certainly makes the path a little bit easier. Jimmy Stein from On3 Sports and Alabama Insider will join us at the top of the one to get into that and the matchup with Maryland tomorrow. At the bottom of this hour, former Vikings GM and Titans president Jeff Diamond will join us to talk about the first few days of free agency in the NFL and the potential moves coming and just how good can the Jets be with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, assuming that the trade gets made. There's a lot of dynamics to that. You know, I mean, he says he wants to play for the Jets. Who has the leverage? The Packers? I mean, how do you make that trade? Jeff and I have been good friends for over 15 years now. We worked together in Nashville. Now he's back in Minnesota, where his son works for the Vikings. And Jeff writes for the 33rdteam.com website. It's a tremendous news site covering the NFL. Great contributors to that site. He's also a consultant for a player agency as well. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show at 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're also on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there on Twitter and Facebook. You can watch it on WZZN TV as well. Get all of that at 97.7ESPN.com, including our calendar, so you know when all the games are, like this afternoon. We will have Crimson Tide baseball this afternoon against the number 2 in the country, Florida Gators, who, you know, Tide are 16-3 overall, but they lost their first conference game, and I think they got no hit or something like that last night by the Gators. And they'll play 2 today because there's weather apparently moving in tomorrow. We'll have both those games for you today here on your home for all things Crimson Tide. And tomorrow we'll have the women's basketball game, and then we'll have the dudes basketball game. Bringing you sports like nobody else in the region. That's for sure. All right, over there in a little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax, answering the phones and living large and in charge on a Friday, it's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick and polish.
Brilliant!
I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the time roll.
Down goes Grissom.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day. So
That's St. Patty's Day. It is St. Patty's Day. This is the one day, Grizz. This is the one day where Les Miles is wrong. It is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day, Grizz.
Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. It's me being an Irishman. It's awesome. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, you're not wearing any green.
I'm wearing green underneath actually.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I want to see your undies.
Green.
Oh, that thing
That's
is green.
green. That shirt's green. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it, man. And
Is that a Grissom sweatshirt? I can't
It
see
is.
the writings on
Grissom
it. Is
Wrestling.
that a Grissom?
Grissom Wrestling.
Grissom
yes, sir.
Wrestling. Good
Yes,
job
sir.
by you.
No, yeah, and congratulations to the Grissom program.
It wasn't
The
your
base-
Grissom Wrestling sweatshirt when you wrestled for Grissom, because you wrestled at like 91 pounds.
130.
And that sweatshirt doesn't look like it would fit a guy that weighed
It's-
100 pounds.
It's just for me to wear because it's cold in here all the time, and
All right.
I'm totally cool with that. And no, I wanted to say congratulations to the Grissom baseball team as they got a win over the number one team in the state. That's Oxford.
Wow.
So congratulations to them. And I think also there's some other news. Your boy Tay Davis from the Cleveland Browns is going to be a Dirty Birds, and he actually went to Oxford High School.
Tay Davis.
Yeah, linebacker.
Tay Davis?
Yeah.
He must not have played very much for Cleveland.
He's a
Maybe they
linebacker.
got him during the year. Maybe he was one of the guys.
He's a
that
guy
they
that's
picked up
been
during
he's
the
been
year.
moving around the NFL. He's got like 4 or 5 different teams
So
since he got
Grizz,
drafted.
right now, this is a little bit weird, okay? Right now, for those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, so Grizz, over here, okay, you see that over there, right? So I got to hoop. I got to hoop over here, right?
Yeah.
You see Chuck?
Oh yeah.
I always get a kick out of
Round
Chuck.
mound of rebound.
Yeah, when Chuck and when these guys are doing the college basketball, and you look at Clark Kellogg's face a lot of times when Chuck says something and he says or whatever, and he knows like somebody just fed him that thing. You know what I mean? It's not like Chuck really knows anything that much about college basketball, and neither does his sidekick there. I mean, neither one of those guys. The Kenny the Jet is the same way. He doesn't know a ton.
I feel like sometimes Kenny doesn't know a whole lot of the NBA either. Like he's like the one that out of the 4 that I, you know what I mean? Like I get it, he played and everything like that, but
they're quizzing them right now. What they're doing is they're saying, can you identify the logo? They're putting up logos of teams and asking them if it's Kennesaw State. That one is Kennesaw State. It's in Georgia, and they're asking them what state it's in. They're making them look dumb. They're like, what is this logo of this school? Who is this?
Sounds like
That's
Coach on Quiz Grizz.
It's Kennesaw. Yeah, right. that thing had to die a quick death. And then over here, Grizz, as you can see over there, I think you can see that up there.
Yeah.
Little spring training baseball.
Oh, nice.
Little
You see in
Detroit.
there?
Yeah,
In my window.
Detroit Tigers
Steve
and the
Moulton.
New York Yankees. I don't know if you could see that there. Oh, Mulaton's over there
You
in
see
the
my screen through the window
in the
through
studio.
glass.
Is that where he is?
Steve Moulton in his Pistol Pete T-shirt jersey. Pretty sweet too.
Is he Irish too or no?
You Irish? He's got green on though.
So I got baseball over there. That's how sick I am about baseball. So I got baseball over there, spring training style, but they're wearing those stupid green hats. They always do that on spring training on St. Patty's Day when you get a spring training game. They wear their stupid green hat. You don't have a stupid green Braves hat, do you?
No, I do not. No, but I have been watching the Behind the Braves. Have you watched any of that on YouTube?
I have not.
You need to watch
I saw
it.
you posting it.
It's like
I
Hard
need to
Knocks,
watch it.
man.
I
It's like Hard
that.
Knocks for the Braves.
Do they have it? Is it just a Braves thing that they're doing on their own?
Yeah.
It's not an MLB thing.
No, this is purely behind the scenes of the Braves. I mean, there's a lot of golf action, just some guys talking about the next season. It's really funny. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think they
All right,
only
I'll tell you
do
what.
3 episodes.
Let's get a break in here, and when we return, we're going to the phone lines. Who do we got up? We got Paulie from the Cape. We got Philip as well. We got Jeremy. All right, so we're going to get to the calls when we come back, and I actually feel bad for Philip today, and I'll explain when we return. It's a Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your Your shingles, we can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The calendar does read March, and that means it's time for you to enjoy some Talon Heating and Air St. Patty's Day specials. And if the utility companies have been taking all the green out of your wallet, Talon Heating and Air, Thomas, has the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow to help you put it back in.
That's right. We have a special right now for all the listeners of this commercial. Get $1,000 off, in addition to excellent savings with the Bosch equipment.
It's Talon Heating and Air St. Patty's Day special, and tell them how they can ring you guys up.
That's right. They can give us a call at 256-503-4490 or at talenthvac.com.
Talon Heating and Air will have you seeing more green this March. And if you're feeling really lucky this March, make sure you join our 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bracket Challenge presented by Talon Heating and Air. Maybe they'll have you seeing more green.
I want to thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Grizz, I told you. By the way, at the half, Michigan State and USC tied at 34. I have the upset in that one. I have USC, the 10 seed, upsetting Michigan State in that one. We'll see how that works out. Grizz, I told you. If I didn't tell you once, I told you a million times. I hate this friggin' World Baseball Not So Classic. I hate it, and here you go. Mets closer Edwin Diaz, last year's Trevor Hoffman Award winner as the best closer in the National League, is now out for the season after ripping up his patellar tendon while celebrating Puerto Rico's win over the Dominican Republic. This is what I'm talking about. You don't see guys jumping up and down celebrating a win in spring training. But because this is for national pride, dudes are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Like 2 days ago, Shohei Ohtani hit 102 on a gun. It was the hardest pitch he's ever thrown in his career. In a game in Japan in front of a packed house of screaming fans. Where they're in the middle of their season over there. And we're just in the halfway point of spring training. Dude's not doing that if he's in camp in Arizona with the Angels. He's not throwing 102. And Edwin Diaz is not jumping up and down like he's celebrating a World Series win when the Puerto Ricans beat the Dominicans. And now he's out for the year because of this stupid-ass tournament.
Totally agree with you.
I know you Braves fans are loving it. Your Braves fans are like, oh,
I don't know if you heard that in the background.
I heard him back there. I heard him.
Don't want to make anybody injured.
Don't want anybody to get hurt.
Cheer for injuries, No. But I mean, it's bad. It looks bad. It looks bad on the thing. And I think what looks really bad is when you're Mike Trout and you said the most fun you've ever had playing baseball is in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, don't say
And you've
that.
been at the Angels for the last 10 years? So.
Well, how many of those years have been any good? I mean, they had a couple of good years. So, all right, let's go to the lines. We start with a Mets fan. He needs a new team. The Philip. Philip, welcome in. How are you?
A little irritated.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
I guess.
Should I get an award for all four of my Final Four picks losing? Because I think that's where I'm at.
Well, your picks sucked. So, yeah. I mean, that is actually pretty hard to do, though. You were able to pick 4 first-round losers as your Final Four. That's strong. To be honest with you, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, you had who did you have? You had Virginia, which is Virginia was a legit pick. You had Texas A&M. You had Oral Roberts. They weren't going anywhere. The Zags haven't played yet, and Texas A&M haven't played yet, so you're okay.
Oh, who was that? Who was that? I'm confused about these Texas teams.
Well, that was that was Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders. That's a little island off of the coast of Texas, and they're related. Texas A&M Commerce, Texas A&M the mothership, and then there's Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You still have Texas A&M alive.
Okay, I got a shot then. I got a shot.
You got a shot. You also have the Zags, which is a legit pick.
Yeah, this Diaz thing, let me tell you something. I am officially denouncing the closer role in Major League Baseball.
Oh, really?
It is so stupid. Stupid. So you're paid millions and millions of dollars to be a reliever on a Major League Baseball team, whoever you are out there. What is it about the ninth inning that number one, your baseball team, the team, has to win the first 8 for you to even be relevant?
Yeah.
Then, for some reason, grown men who are paid millions of dollars screw the pooch because they freak out, and for some reason, the last 3 they can't throw a strike. They just throw it right down the middle and get smacked around. What is up with that?
Well, I mean, look, nobody pitches past the 6th inning anymore as a starter. That's, first of all, what's up with that? But, closer, I mean, you're coming into a close game. It's a high leverage situation. There's a lot on the line. You got to come in and shut it down, baby. I mean, I'd look, man, let me tell you something.
That's what they're paying them for.
Well, yeah, they pay them buku dollars to close the game.
To do. That's just their job.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never gotten it. I've never gotten the closure. Take me back to when pitchers were men and they actually pitched 9 innings. I mean,
it's not going to. Yeah. Unfortunately, those days are long gone, baby. Those days are long gone. I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. It's not happening.
Stupid.
Yeah. They need to limit the pitchers, and thanks for the call, Philip. I want to get as many of these guys in as I can before we get to Jeff Diamond. One of the rules I'd like to see, Grizz, is limit to 3 pitchers, and except for injury. I think they should have a 3-pitcher rule. Except for injury, 3 pitchers. That's all you need. That's all you need. Paulie is in the Cape. Now, don't you agree? Don't you think 3 pitchers would be a good rule?
No, that would be a lot better, yeah.
Paulie in the Cape. Paulie, welcome in. How are you?
What's going on, Tom?
You are.
It's the holiest day of the week, the Friday trifecta. You got anything going on?
No trifecta because we did the Final Four-fecta on Wednesday for the Final Four, and we'll do one next Wednesday. We'll do from the Sweet 16. We'll do a Final Four plus the final and the winner contest next Wednesday. So yeah, with the tournament we do it on Wednesday.
I'll check in on Wednesday. But as far as the picks, I made a nice little profit yesterday on taking the lowest totals and betting the over. And the only team that didn't come through was the number 1 team, Houston. Unbelievable. The only team.
Well, they didn't have Sasser. Sasser couldn't play, and they Northern Kentucky slowed them down, and they just couldn't shake Northern Kentucky. I mean, it was a pain.
There was a 2-minute span where there was 4 turnovers, change of possession, and each time they didn't make a 3 or a 2, and they wasted a minute and a half and didn't score any points, and that over was off by 5 points.
Yeah.
In that 2 minutes, they wasted, and they didn't score anything. Unbelievable. So one buddy took all the underdogs yesterday and is up, I think, 250. So we bet all.
That was a good, on the lines. That was a good thing to do. I mean, even Alabama didn't cover. Alabama was 24.5-point favorite. They won by 21, I think.
Hold on. I made 100 on Alabama on the first half because the first half they're going to be all full of energy and boom. Yeah, but they did make money on the first half.
Yeah, that's a good job by you.
So, but anyways, I'll be ready for the trifecta and can't wait for football.
A salty XFL game tomorrow, man. You got a good XFL game tomorrow. You got D.C. and St. Louis, and you're probably going to be 40,000 people at that game.
I'd rather watch hockey.
I watched some hockey last night. I was watching the Bruins last night.
I'm ODing on hockey until the draft.
Good job by you. Yeah. I'm watching some baseball right now. I got the Yankees in Detroit. Yeah, get in next week when we do the Final Four-fecta from the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, next football season, I'll be winning all those little jackpots like I used to do in the Cape when you were down there. I'm going to be getting all of it.
You'll be tough to beat. All right, man.
I know it.
Bye. Jeremy is up next. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Tom, man. It's great to be here. Enjoying the rain on this St. Patrick's Day. And,
a miserable day. Miserable day.
Yeah. I think Alabama's got a better shot now that he lost Arizona and Virginia. I think Alabama's got a better shot. I think the biggest two teams in that top of the bracket right there is Missouri and Baylor. I think that's the only 2 guys that teams that stand a chance. And I think Alabama's got a good road.
Yeah, but that is offset by the fact that Brandon Miller, how hurt is he? You know what I mean? What if you don't have Brandon Miller? What if this guy can't give you good minutes? He's the best player in the country. That offsets the fact that, yes, the path is easier. I would 100% if it's a 100% healthy Alabama Crimson Tide team. But now all of a sudden, if Miller is ineffective, wow, it gets tough. Now, I had them beating Baylor to get to the Final Four. I had Alabama and Baylor. I think I had Alabama and Baylor in the Elite Eight. So, Baylor's still around. But now I'm concerned about Brandon Miller.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
by the way, Philip, this loss of idea of a relief pitcher, it's part of baseball, Philip. How long have you watched baseball? But here's the one thing. If we're going to talk about anything about baseball, here's what I'd like to see changed. I do not like the extra innings rule where they put a runner on second base.
Agreed.
If you're going to give them a runner at second base, I think the option should be you get the choice of when you come to bat. Oh, you want a runner at second? Well, then you have 2 outs.
Yeah.
If you want to put your runner at first, you have no outs. And maybe a 1 out at second and 2 outs at third. So you have 1 out.
That's a really interesting. That is a really interesting concept. That is really. I've never heard that. Did you hear that somewhere? Did you come up with that? Because that would be really interesting. You put a guy. You came up with that. It should be, because I don't like bunt him over, sack him in. I don't like you can get the guy in, but of course they're trying to end the game. You know what I mean? So that might defeat the purpose.
And there's no option for the team in the field. You're giving the advantage to the team at bat.
Yeah.
So why not give the advantage to the team and then give them both equal playing field when it comes to the extra inning?
You want a guy on second, you got 1 out. You want a guy on second, you got 1 out. You want a guy on first, you got no outs. You want a guy on third, you can put a guy on third, you got 2 outs. I like that. It's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
That makes dreams come true right there. So I'll let you push that.
I'll give you credit for it, Jeremy. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Cal.
Excellent idea, Grizz. You want a guy on second, you got 2 outs. I mean, you got 1 out.
Excellent idea, but I mean, the whole point was to hurry up the game. End the game, and that's the one I don't like about it, though, is just ending the game. And if it's 2 outs and you still have a chance, you know what I mean, and the game keeps going into extras because it's tied. At least you got to
do something.
You know?
At least you have to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you put them out there and there's 1 out, you can't bunt them over, sack them in. I don't like bunt them over, sack them in, win the game.
I mean, what happens if you just pop out fly every time you got a guy on third and you got the 2 out rule?
Well, don't
it's going to keep going in extra.
Don't pop out fly. You got a guy 90 feet away. Got a guy 90 feet away.
Yeah.
Don't pop out fly. Kennesaw State's beating the snot out of Xavier. Gosh. Blow up more brackets. Brandon finishes this segment. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I'm watching my alma mater, Kennesaw State Owls, thinking that if they win this game, that it might be the greatest amount of first-round upsets we've ever seen. So we ever had three that big?
It would be another 14-3. Well, one was a 12-5. Yeah, I remember one year we had 3 12-5s. But to have a 14-3, a 15-2, and this is still the first games of day 2.
Yes.
So we had a 13-4 upset. We had a 15-2 upset. So yeah,
definitely
that would be something.
I always love to bet on the 5-12.
By the way,
good action.
Yeah. By the way, I stand corrected. I said that Texas A&M won. Penn State won that game. I stand corrected. So Philip, you are screwed. You got one team left, Gonzaga. That's all you got left. Texas A&M did lose to Penn State. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
So tonight, the Alabama men's wheelchair team plays Illinois in a semifinal at 8 p.m.
Uh-oh.
If they win that game, and then Auburn could beat Arizona at the 6 p.m. game, we could have an Iron Bowl men's wheelchair national championship face-off Saturday at 2 p.m.
So an Iron Bowl of iron wheels.
Iron Bowl of iron wheels, yes.
An Iron Bowl of iron wheels. All right.
On Saturday
Could
at
happen.
2 p.m.
Yeah.
That could be some good watching. I might have to drag a 4 TV into the living room. I already told the wife that I may have to swing by Comcast and see if they'll get me another box, because this one TV doesn't have Roku built into it. But she's not very happy about the living room going to look like the MARTA Metroplex when I get done with it. But I'm going to have this game on so that I can watch it if that happens. These people just work too hard, and they put in too much effort to not get a little bit of notoriety. So it's live streaming. So if you're listening to Thom's show and you want to watch these folks, the women have won back-to-back national championships. They won theirs last weekend, Adapted Athletics. The men are trying to go. They got their butt tore up last year in the championship game. But this will be the first Iron Bowl on Iron Wheels men's national championship, I think, that has ever happened.
Yeah.
So
it would be a thing. Those guys are amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Brandon. I appreciate it. That's a good job by you. Those guys are amazing. Those wheelchair athletes are incredible.
Both sides, men and women's.
But I'm just saying, in general. When I say those guys, I mean people.
Those guys.
Those guys. When I say those guys, it could be those guys could be chicks.
Yeah, we're part of that. You know.
Grumpy says, "Is Wolverine Dan a ginger? If so, does he know Huntsville has a running of the gingers today?" Now, his wife's name is Ginger, but no, Wolverine Dan had dark hair. Before Wolverine Dan is a gray beard. He's a gray. Wolverine Dan has had gray hair since I've known Wolverine Dan for 18 years, and he's always had gray hair. 19 years. I've known him for 19 years. This is just about the time that I came in 2004 to the market. I've known Wolverine Dan since March of 2004. And this is 2020. I've known Wolverine Dan for 19 years, and he's always had gray hair. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. Jeff Diamond talking football next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website, and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
60-18.
Three for the lead. Bottom!
6 games to win.
Lays it up. Got it. We're tied.
3 weekends to advance.
And of course, he banks it in.
And for the one team left standing.
On the drive, he throws it home.
A national championship.
The Tide does it again.
Join us Saturday. It's Alabama and Maryland. Live from Birmingham. On your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford and the fine people in the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. They'll get your service done right the first time, every time. They do a tremendous job down there. And when you go and you see those service lanes and talk to those knowledgeable people, you're going to know that you're in the right place to get your service done at Woody Anderson Ford. Don't forget also the certified gold pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford. I got my 2019 F-150 there a couple of years ago. My wife got her Mustang from there as well, her convertible Mustang, and they have been outstanding vehicles for us. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy that was the GM of the GM of the Vikings. He was the president of the Titans. He has been the executive of the year in the NFL. He is back in his home in Minnesota as we speak now, working for a really cool site called the 33rd Team. I think it's a relatively new site, but I've been checking it out lately, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. You'll like it. The 33rd Team is where you'll find it, and he joins us now. Jeff, welcome back. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Tom. Great to hear your voice, which I heard up close and personal for so many years when we worked together.
Do you believe it's 15 years that we've known each other this
sure.
summer? I mean,
yes,
15 years.
Certainly. Wow. Right. Many a good days in the studio and on the golf course. We had a lot of fun together.
I got to get you, next time you're anywhere near the Dirty South, we got to get out to Cherokee Ridge. We have a corporate membership now at Cherokee Ridge in Alabama, and it is a spectacular track. Hilly, a lot of undulations, different huge waterfalls. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful track. So anytime you're in the region, the next time we'll have to get together, go play Cherokee Ridge.
That sounds like a good plan. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I'd love to do it.
We start playing golf a little bit earlier here than you will there in Minnesota.
Yeah, we still have a little snow on the ground here.
You and I once played one time, and where was that? Was that in Kentucky or Tennessee? Wherever it was.
In Bowling Green, yes.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it was like playing in Minnesota in the middle of the winter. I mean, remember how cold it was?
It was super cold that day, and it was a beautiful golf course too.
Oh, we only got in 9 holes, and I still got my Old Stone beanie. It's in my bag because I hardly ever wear it, so it's still in my golf bag. That Old Stone beanie. I bought it before we played. I swear to God, it must have been 30 degrees. And Jeff and I went out there and played a little golf. But Jeff's from Minnesota, so he's hardy. He can handle it. I can't do that stuff anymore. All right, before we get into some free agency stuff, we lost a true legend. Bud Grant lived a great, great life, a very diverse guy, an outdoorsman, a guy you knew. You started your career with the Minnesota Vikings as a grunt, and Bud Grant was the man there. Just talk a little bit about Bud Grant passing at, I think, 95 years old, something like that.
Yeah, certainly sad with Bud's passing, and I was very close to Bud. Worked for 10 years closely in the organization with him when I first started with the Vikings, and I started in PR and operations, and I was in charge of team training camp and team travel, so I would really be working closely with Bud on all of our planning and arrangements and so forth. And obviously he was a fantastic Hall of Fame coach and a great record, but I think he was also misunderstood by a lot of the general public who thought they viewed him as very stoic and non-emotional, but I knew him very well, very close, and I could see that he was much more personal, much more emotion, and had a great heart. And I saw that on a number of occasions when Jim Marshall, the great ex-Viking defensive end, retired, and Bud was very tearful at the press conference that day. That was the first time I really saw it. Then I went to I was privileged to go to Bud's Hall of Fame enshrinement in the mid-'90s, and very, very emotional speech that he gave that day. But I think my favorite personal memory of Bud is when I left the Vikings in 1999, and before I was headed to the Titans, and I left the Vikings, and I was packing up my office that night, and it had been kind of a tough departure because there had been kind of a power struggle with Denny Green, the head coach, wanted to take over the GM job that I had, and so I started looking around elsewhere, and that's when I eventually found the Titans opportunity, which was fantastic. But Bud, it was around 9 o'clock at night, and Bud came to the office where I was packing up and sat down with me for a good half hour made a special trip in there. At that point, he was no longer a coach. He was just a consultant. Made a special trip, sat down, and just talked with me about, hey, if one door closes, another door is going to open for you. You're going to have another opportunity, good opportunity in the league. You've got a good reputation. Really boosted my spirits that day. And it just showed kind of the heart that he had and the good person that he was. So I'll be attending his funeral service tomorrow here in the Twin Cities. And it's a sad occasion, but again, to celebrate the life of someone who lived to 95 and lived it his way. He retired from coaching when he was 57 because he wanted to spend more time in the outdoors, as you said.
Wow.
And loved
only 57.
Yeah, exactly. And loved his hunting and fishing here in Minnesota and Wisconsin, where he had a cabin. So he will be missed, definitely.
You know, I didn't realize he was only 57 when he retired from coaching because, you know, when you're young, I was a kid, you know what I mean? You're young, and he always looked old, you know what I mean? He was in it cold, and he didn't wear no gloves or anything. He wouldn't let the guys on the sideline where, you know, he didn't have heaters and things like that. He was, you know, hard scrabble Minnesota all the way. But 57 seemed old. Now that I've, you know, put 57 in the rearview mirror a few years ago now, that seems so young to I didn't realize he was that young when he left.
Yeah, and that's probably why he lived to 95 because
yes,
he got
probably
away from the stress of the coaching world at that point in time. But yeah, he definitely had a great long life and great family, 6 kids. I think he's got 13 grandkids, 15 great grandkids, and I've been close with his son Mike, who is a very successful high school coach in Minnesota. Has won many state championships here, and just saw him actually last week at an event. So it will be, as I said, a sad occasion tomorrow, but to celebrate his great life too.
Jeff Diamond with us here. We're going to talk a little NFL football with him. By the way, this site, this 33rdteam.com site, I don't know how old it is. I heard about it before, and there's an incredible list of writers that you guys have, especially on the front office side, yourself and Joe Banner and Bill Polian and Rick Spielman, and I know most of these guys, and it's Mike Tannenbaum. This is a really, really impressive list of writers that they've put together there at this 33rd team.
Yeah, it's really been fun to work with them, and as you said, a bunch of former players too involved, and guys like Robert Smith are on that site, and I think Eddie George has done some stuff for them, and a lot of former coaches that work there and do different. It's not only written pieces like I do, but a lot of videos, and so it's a fun site, doing a lot of things, and they, in fact, they just texted me and said, "Hey, what do you think the Jets should give for Aaron Rodgers?"
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's an interesting thing because this is a weird scenario. So Aaron Rodgers says he wants to play for the Jets now. If he's going to play, he feels like the Packers have made it clear that they're moving on. You could talk about whether or not that's the right thing to do there. I feel like this is 2008 all over again. This is Brett Favre all over again, even involving the Jets. But how do you make that trade? How do you come up with that trade if you're the Packers? Who has all the leverage? You know, it feels like the Packers do. The player says he wants to go to the Jets. The Jets want the player. The Jets are signing guys that he wants. It seems like the Packers have some leverage here to get a little bit of a sweet deal.
Yeah, they're really in the driver's seat on the deal, as you said. And in fact, if they were to trade him before June 1st, they would actually take a bigger salary cap hit in dead money by trading him before June 1st than keeping him right now because his cap number is lower. So there's really no incentive for them to even do a deal before June 1st, whereas the Jets, of course, are going to want to get the player Aaron Rodgers into their system, start working with their receivers and OTAs and minicamp. But I think the Packers ultimately will decide we'd like to get that at least one draft pick or 2 draft picks this year in the April draft rather than waiting until June. So I think it'll happen in the next month, but it may not be until right before the draft. And so I think it's going to be interesting because I'm sure that the Packers are saying, hey, we should get what Seattle got for Russell Wilson, which was multiple number 1s and number 2s and players, and what the Lions got for Matthew Stafford, multiple number 1s and number 2 high picks, and neither of those trades necessarily have worked out fantastic for those two teams. in acquiring those veteran quarterbacks. Now, Stafford won a Super Bowl. That first year was great. Last year was a disaster for the Rams. And, of course, it was a disaster in Denver for Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Now they got Sean Payton there. We'll see if he can get things straightened out, because I still think Russell Wilson's a great player. I don't know what happened last year.
Well, but he was showing signs of decline, I thought, in his last year or two, even at Seattle. So maybe his game isn't one that was built to be playing into your, late 30s. Both of those guys you just mentioned were 34 years old, whereas, in the case of Rodgers, he's 39, and I know that a lot of people are pointing to what Tom Brady did, but Brady had won 6 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers has not won 6 Super Bowls, and so it's a little bit of a different scenario. To me, this whole thing is very risky. I mean, I feel like I never liked the Zach Wilson draft pick for the Jets. I like Robert Saleh. I like what they're building defensively, and they're getting some parts there. But what's your thought process? I mean, do they because right now, based on the trade, Vegas has them like the 4th favorite to win the Super Bowl. They're talking about them like they're the Chiefs and these types of people. What's your thought on what the Jets could be with a 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers?
I think they'll be much better. I think they're a tough team already with that defense, as you mentioned, and they lost Breece Hall on offense last year. Until he got hurt, he was probably going to be the Rookie of the Year, and they've done some good things offensively with adding talent. Tyler Conklin, the good tight end, came here from Minnesota from the Vikings, and I just think, and they've got Garrett Wilson was the offensive Rookie of the Year. I really think that Rodgers can put them in a position to certainly compete for that AFC East with Buffalo and perhaps New England or Miami. We'll see. It's going to be a loaded division, and the Patriots have done some good things, and so have the Dolphins, just traded for Jalen Ramsey. So there's a lot of things in that AFC East that are going on. But I think the Jets will be right there. They've got a really good nucleus of young talent on defense and offense, and I think Rodgers is going to make a big difference there. But as you said, I'm sure from the Jets standpoint, they're saying, well, this is a guy that could up and retire in a year. He could decline as he goes into his 40s. I think he can play several more years at a very high level because of the kind of athlete he is and the arm strength he has. But I'm sure that's why the Jets are saying, "Hey, we're not giving you what happened in the Stafford and the Russell Wilson trades. I mean, we'll give you maybe a 2 and a 4 and a 1 next year or something, but it's not going to be 2 1s and 2
couple
2s.
of ones, yeah."
I don't think so.
No, not for that. All right, let me get one more quick one in here. My producer probably is not happy with me, but I want to get your thought on this. Your colleague, Mark Trussman, your good friend, Mark Trussman, who I have great respect for, and you know Mark for years and years, he wrote a very interesting piece on Anthony Richardson, a breakdown of Anthony Richardson. The Carolina Panthers moving in the number 1 spot. Richardson was a workout warrior, certainly, at the Combine, but his film does not support him being the number 1 guy overall. There's just something not right there. But what's your take on what the Panthers and Frank Reich might do now with that?
Yeah, I really think that Richardson is a risky pick at number 1. Now, I know people compare him to Cam Newton, of course, who was a big, strong guy and had
a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, you're looking at a guy who completed barely over 50% of his passes last year, was a 1-year starter. That's dangerous. That's the kind of stuff we saw from Mitch Trubisky when he was picked so high by the Bears, and then they passed on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in that situation. To me, Bryce Young is the safer pick and the better player throughout his history. I think Richardson will be a top 10 pick, however, but I don't know that the Panthers are going to go that direction. I'll be a little surprised if they do, but hey, anything can happen in draft season, as we all know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeff Diamond has been our guest. Jeff, always a pleasure. Let's get together again before the draft and play around with that a little bit. Appreciate you. Say hi to the wife. I know your boy's working there for the Vikings as well. That's exciting, and it's always fun to catch up with you.
Yeah, actually, he's in the esports world now, but he's still part of it's the Vikings owners that own that business. So he's in the gaming world, but he still works on the campus of the Vikings, and so yeah, it's I'll definitely say hello, and please say hello to your family and all wife and kids and everybody. So great to talk with you.
Takes a little while to say hello to everybody in my family. You know how that goes.
For sure.
That army I got. All right, Jeff. Appreciate you, man.
You too. Take care. Thanks, Tom.
Jeff Diamond. He's in the esports world. Maybe we should get his kid on.
Got to get him on with the boys.
Yeah. It's interesting. All right. Hour number 1's in the hopper. We're going to start hour number 2 off with Jimmy Stein from On3 Sports and Alabama Insider. We'll get his thoughts on Alabama, the injury to Brandon Miller, and Alabama's outlook tomorrow against Maryland. We'll do that with Jimmy Stein next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Major injury concern for the Midwest region's 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Houston guard Marcus Sasser pulled in the first half of the first-round win over Northern Kentucky after re-aggravating a groin injury he suffered less than a week ago. Following the game, Sasser did tell reporters there was definitely an opportunity for him to play tomorrow against Auburn. In addition to being the Cougars' best player, Sasser also the American Conference Player of the Year, an All-American, and one of the best scorers in college basketball. First round of the NCAA Women's Tournament begins today. You can catch the games on ESPN TV, ESPN2, ESPN News, and ESPNU. NFL, Cowboys backup quarterback Cooper Rush agreed to a 2-year deal worth up to $5 million with Dallas, according to ESPN's Todd Archer. Rush has a 5-1 record when starting in place of an injured Dak Prescott the last 2 seasons.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SUMMI to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SUMMI for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SUMMI for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're talking about rain through a good majority of the afternoon. That rain will finally come to an end as we head into the evening, and then especially through the overnight, the earliest hours of your Saturday morning. Temperatures are going to do a great job at falling off below average. Once again, looks like we're going to start the weekend in the lower 30s. A mostly cloudy sky through Saturday afternoon. Some of us might break into the partly sunny category, but for the most part, expect more cloud cover than sunshine. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s. Saturday afternoon, not much better as we head into your Sunday. We're going to start Sunday in the mid and upper 20s. Plenty of sunshine through Sunday afternoon, but temperatures only climbing into the mid 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I screw up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, pal. Tell your fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. And yeah, it's Friday. And yeah, that means that right now you can get the greatest deal that Valley Equipment Rental has. That's the one where you go on down there and you pick up your piece of equipment sometime after 2 o'clock today, and it's not due back in until 8 o'clock on Monday. All right, so that means you get basically tonight, this afternoon, and tonight. Daylight savings time, you got extra time. All right, you got extra time. And you got time to work tomorrow before the Alabama game, even before the women's game. You could, if that's what you want to do. And then, of course, you get it on Sunday and all the way until 8 o'clock on Monday morning, and it's all for a one-day rental. It's the best deal around anywhere. Plus, these are locally owned folks. So when you want to support businesses in the Valley, think about Valley Equipment Rental. Go to valleyequipmentrents.com to learn more. That's Valley Equipment Rents. All right. By the way, it's more carnage, potential carnage here today. Kennesaw State is beating Xavier like a mule right now. With 15 minutes to go in that game, Kennesaw State's up 51-38. And Baylor has now come back and tied UC Santa Barbara. Baylor, to me, is the biggest threat to the Crimson Tide getting to the Final Four, to be quite honest with you. And that's all dependent, of course, on the health of Brandon Miller. And joining us now to talk about that and other things Crimson Tide related, Jimmy Stein from On3 Sports and Alabama Insider. Jimmy is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jimmy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Appreciate you having me on, Tom.
Man, this tournament, I mean, it's just upsets galore, it seems like. It's amazing how this thing never fails to perform for us. It never, it doesn't meet expectations, especially the first couple of days of the tournament. It's crazy.
That's why they call it March Madness and not March Calmness, I guess. I mean, it's rarely a situation where you just figure out the bracket. You just go chalk, pick all the favorites, and then your brackets. It's never that way. You have to guess where the upsets might be, and it looks like you might have a couple brewing right now. Just pick it up right where yesterday left off.
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting started today. By the way, for our listeners, Michigan State comfortably leading USC right now, 66-57. That one with 2.5 minutes to go in the game. So it looks like Michigan State will go. I had USC in that one. I thought USC was scary 10 in that one, but apparently it's not going to be the case. So Alabama cruises pretty easily yesterday against Corpus Christi with Brandon Miller tied behind her back, basically. Was there any indication beforehand that he had this kind of an injury, one that would, potentially limit him the way it did?
A little bit. Nate Oates mentioned on his Monday night Hey Coach show briefly. He didn't make a thing of it. Maybe we should have as media and fans, but he mentioned it so casually. And then Brandon started the game. Let's all remember that. Brandon started the game, and I believe had Alabama been in trouble in the game and it been tight throughout, Brandon may not have come out. I think his injury is that minor. I think Brandon came out because Alabama had an extremely comfortable lead without him. They were on track to score over 100 for a lot of the game, even without getting an offensive contribution from him. So I think the decision to sit him at that point was pretty easy. I don't believe his injury is to the point that it needs to be monitored or, hey, he's in doubt for Saturday. Hopefully for Brandon and for Alabama's sake, he'll be better Saturday than he was yesterday. But again, I think it was a did not play coach's decision more than an injury situation. Which was smart. I mean, they could have actually, they could have placated a lot of the pundits out there around the country. They could have suspended him for the first game of that tournament and had him sit out, and then because they were going to win this game going away anyway. And that's kind of how it ended up working out. So, but they do get the win quite easily. Some of the national media, I think I saw something today that said Alabama seems to be struggling now under the pressure of the off the court. We're not really seeing that. I mean, it really hasn't impacted anything that they have done on the court. These young guys are not really being negatively impacted by all of this chatter that is out there that is, in many cases, not even factual. Yeah, I don't believe we've seen any real evidence of that at all. They've continued to win despite it. Let's remember that when the situation really blew up nationally, which was in mid to late February, when it really blew up, Brandon Miller scored 41 points that day or the next day. I mean, it didn't affect, he scored his season high just hours after it became a national, huge story. The team has played pretty well since then. They won every game in the SEC tournament by double digits, won in the first round by a blowout to the point that they could play the walk-ons in the last couple minutes of the game. So I haven't really seen any evidence that this is weighing them down, which is remarkable because you would think it would. I think the natural guess, the natural reaction would be in dealing with a bunch of college players that just the size of this story, the magnitude of it, would really weigh on them. And I haven't seen a lot of evidence of that yet. When Alabama eventually loses, if they do, you can guess that a lot of people are going to go to that story, that's exactly why they fell short. Sorry about that. There's a fire truck coming through. But however, but I think it's going to take some sort of collapse for that to really be the story. You're playing nothing but good teams now. Starting Saturday against Maryland, playing nothing but good teams. I'm not sure I'm ever going to buy into the excuse that the weight of that story affected them because it just clearly hasn't. Now you're playing good teams. It doesn't matter how you got to play well to beat anybody that's left. Well, speaking of walk-ons, I mean, this Kai Spears story is absolutely weird in as much as that not only did the New York Times, we're not talking about some wacko blogger out there, this is the New York Times, not only did they report the story Wednesday night that Spears was in Brandon Miller's car at the scene on January 15th down on the Strip, now with Spears and his dad and Greg Byrne and the university all denying it, the New York Times is standing by the story. I mean, they're sticking with it. It makes you wonder. You've been in this business for a number of years. It makes you wonder, what is it that they got that they're sticking with it? Now I'm starting to wonder. We know there's been video and dash cams and all this other kind of stuff. You would think that would have, come up by now. This is an absolutely bizarre story of he said, she said. Yeah, I think the New York Times not retracting the story has been the thing that's most surprised me, Tom. I mean, I suspected after the kid himself put out, and the statements have been basically, well, not even basically, the statements have all been from the Spears end of things. We're suing you. We are suing you. That's what the statements appear. They already have a lawyer. Dad's an athletic director at Marshall. The kid released a statement. Gosh, I don't know what the New York Times source is. Like, we have not at Bama Insider reported anything about who else was with Brandon. I can just say, well, we certainly have not had information that Kai Spears or any other basketball player was with Brandon Miller and Darius Miles and Jaden Bradley that night. But it's the New York Times. They say they are sourced or double sourced, and I guess they can withstand a lawsuit, because it certainly seems like the Spears are doing more than just saber rattling.
Yeah, they do, for sure. Jimmy Stein with us here from Bama Insider, talking a little Alabama here in the tournament. Obviously, with Arizona and Virginia exiting the region already, it seems to have made a better path, assuming Brandon Miller can be the kind of contributor he normally is. So it seems to be an easier path. In your mind, look, when you're the number one overall seed, not just a 1 seed, but the number one overall seed, it feels like anything less than a trip to the Final Four would be a very disappointing end to the season, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not saying the season would be a failure if they were to lose in the Elite Eight. I think in the Sweet 16 it would be extremely disappointing. But I mean, do you think that it's Houston or bust in terms of at least, it not being a disappointing ending to one of the greatest seasons in the history of the Crimson Tide?
Yes and no. I think it's a real interesting philosophical question, because Alabama's sort of at a crossroads here, Tom, between what's happened this season and the history of Alabama basketball. I mean, the history of Alabama basketball is you've only been past the Sweet 16 one time. So
right.
Getting to the Elite Eight matches the best NCAA tournament run in the history of the program. It's very hard historically to take any position other than, gosh, if you get to the Elite Eight, that's something at Alabama. You've matched the all-time best run. But because you're the number one overall seed, because you're a 1 seed at all, because other highly seeded teams in the South bracket have lost, yes, it will feel like if you fall short in that Elite Eight round, that it is disappointing, which is, it's hard to imagine saying that with a straight face before this season began. But the way the season has played out, the way the tournament has played out, let's see what happens with Baylor today. Baylor's obviously a major threat and stumbling block. And not that these other teams aren't good. You could play a Furman or San Diego State in the Sweet 16 round. It sounds good, but obviously they're good teams, or they wouldn't be there. But I think most Alabama fans, Tom, would agree that at this point it feels like anything other than an appearance in Houston would be a disappointment. But let's all keep in mind the context of where we're at in Alabama basketball history.
Yeah, I have Alabama over Baylor in the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four. Baylor, by the way, approaching halftime, is trailing UC Santa Barbara by 3. So they continue to struggle in their first game. Just shows to show you how difficult this thing would be. Look, Houston didn't look great yesterday. I mean, and I know that Sasser was out for the second half, but they just could not shake Northern Kentucky. So you just don't know, the way this thing, there's so many pitfalls along the way to winning 6 games to being a national champion. All right, before I let you go, give me your thoughts on the matchup with the Terrapins. Terrapins are 22-12 overall, 6-4 in their last 10. They looked impressive, I thought, in that win over West Virginia. Looked like a pretty athletic basketball team. What's your take on what the Tide needs to do to advance past this weekend now?
Well, I think it's going to be a battle of tempos. Alabama's heard that a lot this year. That's been the case in several matchups with Alabama all season, and most of the time Alabama wins out regardless. But it is yet another game where I think you're going to play a team that wants to slow it down. They want to play a game where the score is in the 60s and not the 80s. They want to turn it into a half-court thing. They want to get super physical in the paint, sort of make it a slog fest with Alabama. They don't want Alabama running and in transition, and Alabama's game that they love to play when they're in transition, launching threes. They don't want to see that. On Alabama's end, it will be, hey, let's keep this score in the 80s. Let's run a lot. Let's shoot a lot. And it's going to come down to that. I think a real key here, Tom, is rebounding. I think if Alabama controls the boards, they can better control tempo. I like Alabama to win the game and make it to the Sweet 16. And we have to remember historically, gosh, that was sort of a ceiling or a wall for Alabama. Might not be this year, but a win over Maryland is not just big for this season. It's big for the history of Alabama basketball, and pretty coincidental they're playing Maryland, who they played in the second round just 2 seasons ago.
A couple of years ago,
and, yes, and won that game behind the what we can call the Herb Jones team.
Yeah, and that was wide open. I mean, that was they won that game, I think, by 19 points, something like that. 96-77 was the win there the last time they met up with Maryland. Jimmy Stein has been our guest. Jimmy, I appreciate you so much. The first time we've had you on the show, great job. Tremendous work that you're doing there at Bama Insider and On3 Sports, and all you guys do a really, really nice job there. And I know that a lot of us are thinking about spring ball as well, but right now, we got to focus on this basketball team, and this is a really exciting run here for this team. And baseball's off to a nice start, and regardless of last night, we'll have the doubleheader this afternoon coming up on our air after my show, and they're off to, I think, a 16-3 start in the non-conference before losing last night. So things all looking good there on the capstone. Did we lose Jimmy?
Yeah, that was weird. I'll tell you about it in a second.
That was a nice little segue out from me. That was a good job by me, and Jimmy didn't get a chance to respond to that. But anyway, all those things are still accurate. All right, we're going to bring it in. We are open lines now the rest of the way. We had one open line segment so far, and it was the second segment of the show, and we took a pile of phone calls right off the bat. Okay, so we're going to go open lines the rest of the way. So you're open line Friday now the rest of the way. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. 256-576-4977. You can get into any topic that you want because it's a open line Friday now, right here in the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions, Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on iopservicesllc.com.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing. And every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, Flash Band the nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
The countdown to the 2023 Trash Panda season is on. Single game tickets are now available for every home game of the 2023 season, including opening night on April 6th. 27 fireworks shows, 6 bobblehead giveaways, 5 jersey auctions, and much, much more. Get your tickets for the 2023 season now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
60-18. 3 for the lead. Bottom! 6 games to win.
Lays it off. Got it. We're tied.
3 weekends to advance.
And of course, he banks it in.
And for the one team left standing.
On the drive, he throws it home.
A national championship.
The Tide does it again.
Join us Saturday. It's Alabama and Maryland. Live from Birmingham. On your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're talking about rain through a good majority of the afternoon. That rain will finally come to an end as we head into the evening, and then especially through the overnight, the earliest hours of your Saturday morning. Temperatures are going to do a great job at falling off below average. Once again, looks like we're going to start the weekend in the lower 30s. A mostly cloudy sky through Saturday afternoon. Some of us might break into the partly sunny category, but for the most part, expect more cloud cover than sunshine. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s Saturday afternoon. Not much better as we head into your Sunday. We're going to start Sunday in the mid and upper 20s. Plenty of sunshine through Sunday afternoon, but temperatures only climbing into the mid 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Drive with Wes Neighbor.
In Alabama and in Florida as well. More states to come down the road. Who knows with North Alabama Mortgage. They do such a tremendous job. Brian Hammaker and his team, they treat you like family. They're just so good, man. They're easy to talk to, easy to work with, and always there to help us in the community as well. It's North Alabama Mortgage. And don't forget to get yourself pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage. Not pre-qualified, but pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage. All right, another game, another loss for me in my bracket. I mean, this is just nuts. I had USC over Michigan State. Did you have USC? I think you had USC too, Grizz, right? So I think we both took we took an L there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So we took the L's there in that one, and this tournament it's just been something, man. I had 10 wins yesterday, which tied me with Captain Cool for like 120th or something like that. But it just, one win is 11 wins where you guys were. That's you and Moulton and Bandyman. You guys were like in 50-something place.
Yeah, 59th, tied for something.
59th place, yeah, tied for 59th with like 15 people. And then one more win will get you tied for 11th, which is where Scott Tyson is. And we're really not sure where Drew is. right? I mean, have you looked? Am I wrong? Am I wrong, or is Drew not in our contest?
I don't want to say
it.
I don't want to say that he didn't fill out his bracket, but I also think that he didn't fill out a bracket.
I think he made out a bracket,
but didn't put in the group.
But didn't get into our group.
Yes.
Somehow. Does that make sense? Because you looked at it, right? You looked at all the 10-win, the 100-point team.
Yes.
He said he had 100 points. Not in our contest, he doesn't. It's not that I don't trust him as far as, our bet. It's just, come on. Come on. Let's get to the lines. We start with Grumpy. Grumpy, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, man. I'm interested. How come you picked Kentucky to go so far deep in the tournament? Kentucky really hasn't shown me.
I thought Kentucky played well down the stretch. They were playing better, and of course they lost in the SEC tournament, but I thought Kentucky was playing well down the stretch. So let's see what they can do. I've got them to the Sweet 16. Actually, I got them to the Elite 8. I got them doing some damage. So let's see whether or not he can get that team to respond. They're very talented. Yeah. They're very, very talented. They got the player of the year from last year still on that team. And sometimes teams that are very talented, they kind of sleepwalk through the season just thinking about the tournament. So I'm hoping they're going to ratchet it up.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
With this pitcher getting hurt, was he playing for Puerto Rico or the other team?
He was playing for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. He's the number one closer in the National League. He was successful, I think, 32 out of 34 or 34 out of 37, something like that last year in closes, and won the award for the greatest closer in the National League last year. Playing for Puerto Rico, closes the game out against the DR, jumps up in the air. He's jumping up in the air to celebrate, lands funny, and blows out his patella tendon and is out for the year.
And you said you had a problem with that?
I have a huge problem with that because I don't need, if you win a game in spring training, you're not jumping up and down and breaking and losing your patella tendon. This guy's out for the year getting hurt in a game where he was unnecessary. But they're, because they're playing for national pride,
What's his goal playing baseball?
We get paid, I would think. I would think
to win the World Series.
Well, yeah, win the World Series.
So
Thank you, Chris.
Get paid, to get paid.
Yeah, and win the World Series.
Well, no, winning the World Series in and of itself doesn't put food in your kid's belly. You can't eat
but
a ring.
You don't get paid.
It's the money.
If you do stuff like that. Now, of course, he's got a guaranteed $102 million contract. He's in the second year of, so he's going to get paid one way or the other. It's the biggest deal ever given to a reliever, and now he got hurt in a team that's loaded. The Mets are loaded.
But I have a reason for asking you, Tom. What's the reason he's playing baseball? To make money, right?
Well, I would guess, but I mean, you also want to win.
Why don't you want to say that? Why are you fighting?
Well, because I don't think money's the only reason. The money follows the winning. You know what I mean? You don't get paid unless you win. You don't get paid unless you're out on the bump.
Not one of these Major League Baseball players would be playing for free.
But they're not getting any extra money. They're not getting anything extra for playing in the World Baseball Classic.
You play baseball in the major leagues. Your goal is to make money, and for some reason you're fighting that.
No, what I'm saying, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid one way or the other. So what I'm saying is that why are you you're not getting any extra money for playing in that thing.
But by saying, I'm going somewhere with this, but by saying you're getting paid one way or the other, that means you've accomplished your goal, right? Is to get paid. The goal is to get paid, not win ball games, because plenty of players could play for less money and get together with superior athletes and have a dominant team for less money. Their agents could set it up if that's what they said they wanted, but they don't. They don't go to the World Series. They make $100 million playing for a team they know is mediocre because they want the money.
Yeah, but if you go in every year, you don't think this dude? If you go into the season, and if you'd have asked him going into the season, and you said to him, "What's your goal for this year?" He's going to say, "My goal is to win the World Series." He's already getting paid. My point is he's already getting paid.
But you can't
so
say
why
it that
play
way
in this
because he's
stupid
already
ass
getting
thing?
paid. He's already
so why
getting
play
paid.
in that?
Huh?
That's like that. But so why play? We might as well run out in front of a car. He's already getting paid.
This is my entire point here. But for some reason, I think you can feel the poop you're fixing to step in by saying that money is the goal because I'm setting you up. And I think you can feel it, and that's why you're saying that it's some Hallmark card win the World Series bull crap. That is such a load of crap. You play for the money. You play for the money.
You don't get the money unless you win.
Series. That's silly. You can't eat
You don't get the money unless you win. You don't get the money unless you win. So you're saying once you get your big contract. So in other words, Aaron Judge, who just got a $350 million contract, so now he should not give a crap the rest of his career because he just got $350 million. Screw it. I'll just do whatever. I'm going to get fat. I'm going to stop working out.
What I'm saying is this: Aaron Judd could have gone to play for whoever won the World Series last year. Who was it? St. Louis? Who won the World Series last year?
Houston.
No, Houston.
Okay, he could have said, "Hey, I'm available to play for the world. Who I think is going to win the World Series, and I'll play for you for $10,000." There would be people lining up to play for the most talented team for $10,000 if that was their goal, and they would never go over the salary cap, and all the best players would come there. My point is this: is the object is to make money, but yet in football season, when young men decide not to play in the state championship, you're pretty open-minded. You see both sides of it, but we both know which camp you're in there.
Oh, they need to play.
Huh?
They need to play. I'm not for you're talking about high school players or college players.
You can't tell me that the object is to make money in baseball, and then tell me that the kid needs to play in the state championship game because he's a better athlete than the other people on the team. And he's going places, and he's going to get a scholarship, and he's going to have the opportunity to make money. His goal isn't to win the state championship. His goal isn't the World Series. His goal is to make money. And it's the same thing with this guy with baseball.
I just don't understand why you don't see that if he's already getting paid, why would you play in something that doesn't get you paid any extra money and is meaningless as opposed to playing for the people who are paying you the money? You know what I mean? And the reason he got that money is because he was great with his team, and he wins, and he's successful. So the money comes after the success. And now here's a guy that got paid, decided to go play for Puerto Rico in a World Baseball Classic, and now is out for the season. Screwed the team, screwed the people who are paying him $30 million next year. Just totally screwed them.
I don't think he didn't break his contract. He's already made his money. I see your point. He's already achieved the first goal. I agree. He's already made his money. So we agree on that.
So at that point, you stay playing for the people who are paying you the money. Not if it's not in your contract. No, I know. Well, the Yankees held out one of their pitchers, Luis Severino, wanted to play for the Dominican Republic or the Puerto Ricans, whatever he is, and the Yankees said, you know what, you're kind of injury prone. No, we're not going to let you do that. This should be
Money
for
is the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right.
I don't have a problem with him playing in that thing if he's already gotten paid.
Not getting any extra money for it. So,
all right, man.
What's the deal? All right, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, of course, a player injured in the World Baseball Classic gets their full guaranteed MLB salary, which is, just ridiculous. Yeah, there's insurance that it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. His master should be the people that are paying him that $100 million to play for that one team. That's where it should be. Text window about Grumpy. Nonsense! The point he tried to make ran off the rails. His 2 + 2 didn't add up to 4. Let's stay with the lines. Up next is Wolverine. By the way, Wolverine Dan's Tigers are beating my Yankees by a score of 7-0 in the top of the 5th. It's a spring training game, though. Dan, how you
Roll
doing?
Tide, brother.
There we go.
That's right. Keep saying that little snippet all the way to the Final Four, then you guys lose. But you get me to the Final Four. That's all that matters. And speaking of Final Four, Philip, for crying out loud, he only has one team left.
He's got one team left in the tournament.
You suck. You suck.
Yeah,
Philip, how long did it take you to do your bracket? Hey, guys, I'm still in the mix. I'm probably in the middle of the row, but I still got my Final Four. It took me all of maybe a little shy of 4 minutes to do it. If I win this thing, it makes you guys all look bad because y'all just sit there with a calculator and abacus and rabbit's foot and a horseshoe rubbing it up your butt.
You are right now tied with the guys that have 11 wins. I had 10 wins, so you're ahead of me for the time being. We'll see what that goes going forward.
Four because I think I got a better Final Four than you, to be honest with you.
I got my Final Fours a lot. I only lost one Sweet 16 team. Your total points potential is you're now an 86th, by the way. You lost the game, so you're now an 86th. And your champion, UCLA, is not going anywhere. Your total points possibility is 1,800. My total points possibility is 1,830. So even though I'm a little bit behind you, I still have a possibility of being ahead of you.
Well, we'll see about that. You still got games in between to play. Yeah, that's right. Auburn, hey, give Auburn credit. Their defense is awesome.
Awesome.
Tom, it's been a busy day today. I had to go to the grocery store. Mama says, she wants something. I said, what do you want? And she said, well, you're going to make dinner tonight? And I say, of course I am. I'm making a nice lasagna with a French baguette toasted with a little bit of butter on it. That's delicious.
Baguette.
And she said, I need some liquid libation. I go, really? And she says, my wine cabinet looks really empty. She goes, why don't you go get me some Winking Owl? And I said, I'll get you some of that. Matter of fact, what flavor you want? She goes, well, I don't know. Surprise me. I said, I got the Pinot Noir I can get you.
Yeah. I just got to have the Pinot, whatever it's called. Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Hey, listen.
Pinot, I think he's saying Pinot Noir, I think is what he's trying to say. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. You know how it is. I get this construed,
bottle of Pinot Noir
in
a ice bucket for Ginger and I.
Yeah, he's good.
I just put a bottle of Pinot Noir in a ice bucket for Ginger and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Shrinkage.
I bought 7.
Yeah.
I bought 7. You know what that means? Yeah, that's right. Where's that little bumper that goes, oh.
No. See, with me, it's the other way around. My wife, second glass of wine, out like a light. The last thing I ever want to do is give my wife wine. Second glass, she's out. Goes to sleep.
That's not good, Tom.
No.
Not good at all.
No.
You might want to teetotal her a little bit. You know
I got to give her coffee to keep her awake.
Yeah, well, that doesn't say much for you, does it?
No,
anyway,
it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how this plays out. What's your Final Four again? What'd you tell me it was?
My Final Four is Alabama and Duke, Houston and UConn.
Ooh, the one side we're together, the other side we're not.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. So, okay, so you're telling me, let's say we get to the Final Four, and I got my 4 teams, you got your 4 teams. Let's say Alabama, or whatever, Duke and everything. Let's say, for instance, well, if my other 2 get in that you didn't pick, and yours didn't get in, your other 2,
I'm in trouble.
I'm going to win over you because I'll have 4 in the Final Four. You only have 2.
Yeah, if you get 4 in the Final Four, you're going to win. No doubt about it.
Well, that's what I want to hear.
You're going to win over me. I mean, right now, I'm looking up at everybody in this thing right now.
Oh,
I'm not even beating I'm not even beating my kid. I mean, I'm right now. I'm pounding salt right now in this deal.
Did your wife make a bracket?
She did not. Remember, you don't remember. She did this once. We got it. Thanks for the call, Wolverine Dan. That's a good job by you. Grizz, we had the Junkyard Babe make out a bracket one time. One time she made out a bracket. She won.
Yeah, I need her to do my bracket next year.
I mean, it was ridiculous. She came and played fantasy football one time, won the league. Made a bracket out one time, won that. I said, come on, make out another bracket. She goes, why? I came, I saw, I beat everybody.
How many times have you heard that someone's coworker had just picked it based off of cool uniforms or mascots or whatever? I don't know how many times I've heard that, and it's just I know it's a guessing game, but it's just you would think that taking some of these matchups, when you look on paper, you wouldn't expect a lot of these upsets. But I mean, like I said, it is March Madness, so
it's the madness. You don't know.
Not March calmness, like Jimmy Stein said.
Not March calmness, March Madness. All right, back to the lines. Up next is LSU Lynch. Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, man, how you doing, brother? Thank you for taking my phone call.
I'd be better if my bracket was better, but other than that, I'm good.
Hey, look here. I just want to say, my text message that I sent you with my boys, doing the spearfishing, how'd you like that?
Oh, was that from you?
That was from me. How'd you
saw
like that?
That's pretty cool.
That's
good job by you.
Like those, yeah, good reels, good rods right there.
Yeah.
Number 2, Huntsville Havoc, they just clinched a playoff position. So I've got to go re-up my tickets right now so we can get to that. So,
well, was there ever a doubt?
Yes. When we
lost, was. Okay.
Yeah, it was. When we lost the goalie, and it started with an L because I'm a redneck, Tom, and I can't say these Yankee Canadian names.
Yeah.
Correctly. But when we lost him, I think we had 5 players that got, called up this year. So it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
Yeah, but not to make the playoffs, though.
But we want to win. We want to win.
Look, being first overall doesn't guarantee you to win. Just get into playoffs, and they'll be fine.
Exactly. And we're very grateful to be there right now. So, look here. And my third thing is I've got a new listener. She's traveling from Nashville. Just want to give a shout-out to my friend Kelly. Y'all have a great weekend, and let's enjoy this tournament.
Appreciate you, man. It's a good job by you. Kelly, you joined a list of women listening to the show. Appreciate you. Wasn't it Lynch's kid that got the UC Saros jersey, right? It was Lynch's kid that got that. Yeah. It's a good break. Come back. Got more after this. Phone lines remain open. Go ahead and jump in. React to any of that stuff that you want to. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
.68 3 for the lead. Bottom!
6 games to win.
Lays it on. Got it. We're tied.
3 weekends to advance.
And of course, he banks it in.
And for the one team left standing.
On the drive, he throws it home.
A national championship.
The Tide does it again.
Join us Saturday. It's Alabama and Maryland. Live from Birmingham. On your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Feed your rhythm at Rhythm on Monroe in downtown Huntsville. Located inside the Von Braun Center at the corner of Clinton Avenue and Monroe Street, Rhythm has everything you're looking for to have that perfect evening. Dinner, drinks, and live entertainment. Check out our Facebook page to see this week's local musician lineup. Find your rhythm and feed your rhythm at Rhythm on Monroe. Visit the menu and make reservations at rhythmonmonroe.com. Parking at the Von Braun Center is discounted when you provide your receipt at Rhythm on Monroe.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Can't get an Uber. Can't get a ride. Can't get a shuttle. Skateboard. Scooter. Skeeching. Right on somebody's back. Rickshaw. Chris and I finishing up a conversation. A rickshaw, a scooter, a Uber or Uber.
It's Birmingham. There's probably plenty of scooters.
Share ride. I mean, come on.
Scooters? No, I haven't been to Birmingham.
Scooters. Yeah. Scooter. I mean, come on. Talk to me about that. All right. So apparently this segment of the show is brought to you by TOC, the Orthopedic Center. The docs at the Orthopedic Center are phenomenal. They got, specialists for every part of your body. They're just absolutely incredible. They do a great job. And the Orthopedic Center, when you need them, they are there. They've been there for over 20 years in this market. When you need them, they are there. Grizz, did you hear about the Jimmy Garoppolo introductory press conference was postponed yesterday? I don't know why. He might have got hurt on his way to the press conference. Who knows? The team has not said why, whether there's a contract snafu or whether there was an issue with the physical or something. A source with the team told the Athletics' Jeff Howe that everything is still all good. And so maybe it'll be happening today, maybe later today, but we'll see whether or not that happens. So speaking of the Athletic, who is this that wrote this? Chris Branch. Some young man by the name of Chris Branch, wrote an opinion about the Diaz injury. Don't blame the WBC. It's under bad arguments. He says, don't blame the WBC. This is what he says. Edwin Diaz tore his patellar tendon Tuesday night. The Mets announced yesterday he'll miss the entire 2023 season. It's a gut punch for a contender. What we should not do, as Britt Garoli, or the hell that is, eloquently stated yesterday, is blame the World Baseball Classic for Diaz's injury. There is an instinct to deride the, quote, exhibition, which sure doesn't feel like an exhibition when you actually watch it.
Yeah.
The game between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico had a playoff atmosphere with emotion pouring from both teams through each play. Let me stop right there. That's my whole point. Because you know what it is? It's an exhibition. You know what it's not? A playoff game. It might have a playoff atmosphere. It might have emotion pouring from both teams, but it is meaningless. It is an exhibition. It's nothing. And it means nothing. And these players are paid by their Major League Baseball teams. He's totally making the point. Yes, the atmosphere, because of the atmosphere, you've got Shohei Ohtani throwing the hardest pitch he's ever thrown in the history of his career. Do you want Shohei Ohtani throwing a 102-mile-an-hour pitch 2 weeks into spring training in a game in Japan in front of that big crowd? And they're screaming, the adrenaline is pumping? That's what I'm talking about. So he goes on to say, just listen to the crowd on Francisco Lindor's Inside the Park home run. Who cares? It's meaningless. Also, he says, reminder, Diaz got injured celebrating his perfect inning. Not playing, but celebrating his perfect inning. His perfect ninth inning. Let me stop right there. Again, that's the point. If it isn't the World Baseball Classic, if he isn't playing for Puerto Rico against the DR, he's not celebrating in spring training. That's the whole point. His next sentence is, it's not an exhibition to those guys. Oh, my God. That's the point. It's not an exhibition to those guys. The only problem with that argument that it's not an exhibition to those guys is that it's an exhibition. Giroli points to Gavin Lux, who tore his ACL 2 weeks ago, participating in an actual meaningless exhibition game in spring training. Where's the outrage there? Lux's injury also is a big blow for a team expecting to win, but we aren't clamoring to shut down the Cactus League. Because he got hurt doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is prepping for the Major League Baseball team with his Major League Baseball team in an exhibition game, just like those are exhibition games. Don't say in an actual meaningless exhibition game as if the games in the World Baseball Classic aren't also actual meaningless exhibition games. Yes, there are players that get hurt in spring training. But when you play it for your country in something like the World Baseball Classic for no additional money, and you play for your country, you're going to try a little harder. Because you know why? It's not an exhibition to them. So you're going to push a little harder. You know what you're going to do? You're going to throw a perfect ninth inning, and then you're going to jump up and down, and then you're going to blow your knee out, and then you're gone for your team for the whole year. Now, look, I'm a Yankee fan. I don't care if the entire Mets team blows out their patellar tendons. My National League team is the Braves. I don't care if the entire team of the Mets blows out their patellar tendons. But what if this were to happen, you know, to the favorite player on your team? How would you feel? How would you feel if it was your guy?
I'm just so afraid for Ronnie. As much as Venezuela and that team celebrates, they're 4-0.
And you know he's playing hard. He's playing his ass off for that team.
Yeah, because he's trying to bounce back from last. I mean, I know he's trying to bounce back from last year, which I kind of love to see that because I know he's trying to.
No, I'm talking about in the World Baseball Classic. He's playing. He doesn't care about last year. Right now, all he cares about is Venezuela.
Oh, of course.
Now, he'll try and bounce back from last year when he's playing for the Braves. But and you know what? You want him to go hard for the Braves. You want him to play his tail off for the Braves.
Yeah.
Do you care if he plays his tail off for Venezuela? Do you care if he bat flips 5 times and then gets hit by a pitch that breaks his hand while he's playing for Venezuela? No.
Nope.
Care less. Just blew right through a break.
Work.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Chris is always fixing it. By the way, coming up after not right after the show, coming up at 2:30, Tide baseball against the Florida Gators, number 2 team in the country, the Gators.
By the way, we got the drive clock on. That's why.
If the which means no commercials. No. If we NPR radio. If the Tide split these two games today, that's a successful trip to Gainesville. Just don't get swept. They're the number 2 team in the country. Tide are playing good baseball to open the season. They're 16-3 now. They were 16-2 in their non-conference play. They're 16-3. If they get 1 out of 3 down there in Gainesville, excuse me, against the number 2 team in the country, then they're good to go. What are we going to do? Listen, Grizz, I need you. We need a screenshot at least. We got to bet. Me and Drew.
Yeah.
We got to bet here. I need you to somehow get a screenshot of his bracket.
Okay.
Since he didn't put it on our contest.
Yeah, we'll have to get it. Yeah, I have to get it from him.
By the way, Grizz, 20 million, 55,885 brackets made out in the ESPN Tournament Challenge.
Yeah.
We are 16 games in. There are 388 people that are 16-0. Out of 20 million, only 388 people are 16-0. You'd think there'd be a few people that can make it through the first 2 days, right? Ridiculous. All right, coming up next, a little bit of Paul and then Tide Baseball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm,